How's it going, guys? Chris back here again with some more Historic Unbanned. Been playing around with a couple of decks. I'd say I built a Ragavan deck, I built a discard deck, and I also built a Golos deck. So we are Golos Field of Deck. Hello, Electrostatic Field. I have not seen you here before. Very cool. Am I gonna see a Gutter Snipe? Then Prodder. Aw. Wow. If the ideal is Dark Ritual into Golos. Into Field of the Dead. In this particular case, we probably should have took a World Tree instead. It's easier to get up to 6 mana and just spend Golos to get the Field of the Dead that way. But we can't not do the plan of the deck. Plus, I guess our opponent has Golos removal. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I'll keep the one that does not have damage attached to it. And this time we will get the World Tree. Just so that next turn we can play Swamp, untap, spin Golos. So we have a couple copies of Golos. I think we're at 3. I don't know if we played full 4, but we are playing a full 4 of Primeval Titan. The Primeval Titan enters the battlefield, finds 2 Field of the Deads, and generally wins the game at that point. Yeah. You see, it generally does this. What do you do? At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library. Any opponent may have you put that card into your hand. Put that card into your graveyard. Yeah, I actually do want the wrath that will kill my zombies put into the graveyard. Then Prodder, you are a hero. He literally saved my life. Well, he certainly tried to save my life. Turns out that there was another conductive current. I mean, Primetime just attacks next turn and resets the board to what it was. We're not particularly scared of what's happening here. Yeah, he's a bit good with Field of the Dead. Honestly, I've played a bunch of games with this deck. I've refined it for like 2 hours. Just trying to get all the pieces right, and it's never gone that well. Not once. So I'm glad that it actually worked out in the end. I have to say, before that, I'd been tinkering around with the discard deck for like an hour or two. Probably not that long in retrospect, but yeah, I think we can't go this until turn 3, unfortunately. But that's the minimum, right? We need 1 for... We need to get rid of the... There is no channel. I guess we get rid of that. That's a problem in some sense. It's technically a storm card because it copies itself, right? No, it doesn't. Okay. I was thinking of something else, but I think that's fine. Next turn, we get our Golos. We get a World Tree. Life is good. Hopefully we draw land so that we actually can keep the count going, but... 2 elves and a Chatterstorm. We want World Tree. World Tree is such a perfect companion to Field of the Dead. Because Field of the Dead needed a perfect companion, you know? Like, its one downside is that it only produces colorless mana, which... if you build your deck right, that's not really a problem, but World Tree says you don't even need to build your deck right. You just need to have... a copy of World Tree sitting around. Are we getting stormed? Because I feel like we might just get stormed. Disgusting. I think I will pay even though we are at a lower life total than we should be. We'll keep the new one. Take action. We'll get a Triome. Just so that we have good color coverage. And then next turn we can prime time in. You control 7 or more lands with different names. So right now we only control 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So one of our prime times will have to be a generic dual land, but that's fine. That is fine. Unless we draw a generic dual land, in which case, double prime time off to the races again. Unless we're dead. We're not dead. We're very close to dead, but we're not dead. You see, that's... take action. 2 forest. Are we still not dead? No, we are 1,000% dead, but we came very close. We're taking 3. Only at 2, so if we had been able to preserve a 1 more life, or 2 more life, we would have actually been able to stick out, but... I don't know, I do love me some primetime decks, and I do love me some Field of the Dead, but I understand that Field of the Dead is a problem, and probably should not be allowed in Historic. Like, all the cards that are on the Historic ban list, like, most of them deserve to be there. I can't think of one that would be... it wouldn't be an issue in some way. The Sneaky Snake Man is actually pretty powerful in the deck. It's something that it took me a while to learn the specifics of, but because we burrow and Golo so many lands in and out of our deck, there are a fair number of times where we're just sitting there with no lands in hand, and during those times, a 2/3 body and an additional land on the battlefield is just cracked. I don't know, there's an argument I think that maybe playing the 3 mana dinosaur is just better. Your 3-mana dinosaur does the same thing, except for you're never gonna have to pay 4 for it, right? Like, it will always be 3 mana, no matter the circumstances. Our opponent is taking a lot to think over their choices. They are Dark Rose. Respectably edgy name. I don't know, the Unbanned historical format is pretty fun. Which is, I don't know, the weirdest thing about it in my perspective is that on the surface you wouldn't think it'd be much different than historic, but just having those handful of cards in the format that aren't kind of mess up the meta considerably. Like, I played against a Jund list, which Jund was a pretty powerful historic deck for a very long time, right? And it probably still is. I just haven't been that well informed on the format these days. But like, it was a respectable historic deck, right? Like, if you queue up, nobody would bat an eye. They'd think, yep, that's a historic deck. And Golos and Field of the Dead kind of trashed him because he was playing a fair plan, and fair plans don't work when channels in the format, right? To be fair, our deck is almost too fair to play against channel. Like, we have Thoughtseizes in the deck that can grab channel to kind of close out the game, but if we don't, we're just in a bad spot, man. And I've run into an opponent who turned 2 channeled into Ulamog, and I had no I had 1 land in the field, and they had 2 lands on the field. And the way Ulamog is worded, like, you can't not exile something. So they exiled one of my lands, and they exiled one of their lands. Iffy. Well, we didn't have much of a match. Wizard, I can't really give you feedback on something that didn't happen. I'm gonna space out the historic Unbanned videos for a bit. So you probably won't see this until after another Brawl video goes up. But I don't know, I think it's a really fun format, and I probably will play at least one more deck in it. Like, there's definitely some Ragavan stuff to do. I wonder if Dreadhorde Arcanist would still be good. If we give it a bunch of banned stuff. Maybe? Demonic Tutor is pretty good. Lightning Bolt, pretty good red spell. So the deck does have some banned stuff that would improve the quality of the deck, but I don't know if it's enough to actually make the deck viable in such a weird and wacky format. We're waiting for our opponent. We have not had a lot of luck with our opponents as of late. Yeah, we might end it off here, unfortunately. Because if we're just gonna get random concessions here and there, there's not really a lot of point in continuing. For the said spoke, oft hope is born when all is forlorn. Legolas to Aragon. That is something that an elf would say, wouldn't it? Yeah, that is definitely elvish. They love speaking riddles. We'll cancel and then re-queue. And I'll actually just pause it here. If we find a match, great. If we don't, I'll just close out the video. So, see you in a bit. We managed to find an opponent. Boyan. He's got a Buin Mensic avatar. I approve. I do. We will Thoughtseize him just to keep them honest. There is nothing honest going on there. This here is one of the problems of the format. As a fun little side event, it works out pretty well, but you do have games where you Thoughtseize and your opponent's like, nope, I'm out. Well, I think we'll end off here. We're a bit of a shorter video, but it's always fun to power around in these weird little things happening. So I will see you guys next time. Bye for now.